Hey, what's up, everyone? Don't forget to email me at loslibertinos210@gmail.com to get information about the event that I'm going to be having here at my home for Cinco de Mayo weekend. It will be May 7th. We are going to have a 1-year anniversary show episode with Bug Johnson from the Counterflow podcast, Matt Erickson from the King Pilled podcast, Andrew from Popular Liberty podcast, and Kyle Anslone from the Conflicts of Interest podcast. We're going to have a 2 or 3 hour show here, depending on how the flow goes. It'll be highly produced episode that I'm trying to put out. And also we're going to have a good cabrito that my primo is going to make. And then, of course, after the episode is recorded and done with, we will party and hang out and watch the Canelo fight. So it's going to be a good weekend, a good Saturday evening, and I hope you can make it out. Once again, email me at loslibertinos210@gmail.com to get information and get your ticket by just doing a pitch in there. So just email me for information. I'll hook you up and hope to see you there. Peace. Welcome, everyone, to Los Libertinos podcast. I am your host, Carlos Abelard, and this is Chingazos and Fire, episode number 40. Our guest today is Adam Nutter. He is a comedian based out of Pennsylvania. He is the host of the Porcupine podcast, which is political in nature, but he also is a co-host on a couple of other podcasts, specifically the Coat of Us, which is him and his homie mostly talking shit, having fun. And Slapstick podcast, which is more sports related, and the same thing, homies talking shit, having fun. But all of these podcasts and many more can be found at Drop Tent Media Network, which is a business that Adam runs. Welcome, Adam.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Carlos, for having me. I got to start rolling my name in my R's like Adam Nutter. It sounds cool when you do it. I can't do it. I can't do accents or anything, but that sounds cool. I got to add myself a little flavor to myself. Too white.
Orale, man, go for it. Yeah, man. So people that I'm a new podcast. I'm getting up to already almost a year, but every time that I hang out with like friends and family, they kind of slowly tell me like, oh man, that podcast was cool and that one was cool. So it's always important to kind of give the background for the people, because a lot of my friends and family don't know who the people are that I'm interviewing. So can you kind of give a background from like born and raised and kind of your path through life a little bit, as much as you want to give?
Yeah. So I was born as a golden god, actually, and I was just brought down here on this earth to help you guys. No, I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Staten Island, New York. Did that. I lived out there for 30 years, and then now I live outside of Pennsylvania. I grew up in Staten Island, playing football. I did football for a long time. I did mixed martial arts for a while. Started comedy at 18 years old, which is easy living in New York, because I mean, in the US, like there's two places, like I would say, like that's good cities to start comedy. It's LA and New York, right? It's like the two, hubs for comedy. And I was lucky enough to live in one of those cities. So I was able to just start, go to open mics in New York, and, fell in love with comedy. I was like, oh, this is definitely what I wanted to do for my whole life. And then I feel like I told this story like 3 days in a row now on podcast. So if anybody wants, I feel bad. Sorry if you hear this again, anybody out there. But so what happened was I started comedy at 18. I did it for 3 years. I was doing comedy from 18 to 20. And also I was in college. I was playing semi-professional football in Jersey. I was doing MMA and working at Modell Sporting Goods all at the same time. And my life was a fucking mess. I was making like no money, from like anything I was doing. I was like, Modell's paying me shit. And I decided to, I was like, oh, maybe I should like take a city job because I'm from Staten Island and all my family are like cops, firemen, sanitation. And my whole life I was beat into my brain, like, do a city job, do a city job, do a city job, do a city job. And I was like, all right. And like, I wasn't like a libertarian. Like, I knew I wasn't a Republican. I knew I was a Democrat, but I didn't know what libertarianism was. I didn't know any of that shit. I missed the first Ron Paul wave, like the '08 Ron Paul wave. So I became a cop, like an asshole at 21 in New York. And as soon as I got in the academy, I was like, hey, I'm here to like help people and stop bullies. And like, no, we don't do that here. I was like, fuck. I was like, I fucked up, I think. Then I saw who Ron Paul was in '08. I was like, oh, this guy gets it. Like, I like this guy's shit. And then I had a kid, so I couldn't leave because I needed money. Right? I was like real stuck. I was like real fucking stuck. Then in 2012, I caught the second Ron Paul revolution wave, and I was like, this is okay. Now I understand what I am. I think I'm this, like, a libertarian. I'm a Ron Paul guy. Then I kept getting hurt on the job, and they made me leave. I was like, thank you. I was like, this is great. And then after I left, I went back into comedy full time. I've been doing comedy full time for the last 7 years. So that's my very short, abbreviated life story with a lot of holes left in the middle there.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. Yeah, no, that way everybody knows what's up. So I gotta ask you first, though, just because it's what's kind of bumping right now. Like, what was your initial take on all that Will Smith, Chris Rock thing? And then now that the dust is kind of settled, it's already a couple of days behind us. Like, what is your thought on it now? Like, was your initial and what you're thinking about it, like, kind of the same, or it
actually hasn't changed at all.
It hasn't changed. All right. So what do you got? What do you got?
So like, right, you have Will Smith, right? This fucking powerful alpha male, top of his game, dude. Everyone knows who Will Smith is. Everyone, right? Like, grandmas know who Will Smith is. All races know who Will Smith is. He is at the top of his game. Well respected. Not one has a bad word for Will Smith. Then here comes this fucking bitch, Jada, right? Who like nationally, publicly cucks him on a fucking podcast, right? And it's like, oh, hey, by the way, I was fucking our son's friend. You cool with that? He's like, guess. like, what am I supposed to say? Like, right? Like, so my microphone stand's gonna completely collapse right now, and it's crazy. It's gonna fall on itself. So I'm gonna have to deal with this and talk, but it's fine. I'll do it. So he gets fucking publicly cucked, right, for the fucking last year, as everybody on the internet, friends of his, strangers like me and you, for a year and a half, it's like, fucking loser, you cuck simp, right? Like, making fun of this dude, and he's just eating it and taking it and fucking taking it and taking it. Okay, then what happens? The Oscars come along. Arguably, right, like, sorry, one of the biggest nights of the year. Okay, like, every celebrity's there. All Will Smith's friends are there, right? And then Chris Rock makes a fucking throwaway G.I. Jane joke, bro. It wasn't even a shot at their relationship or shot at anything. Just a fucking, oh, you shaved your head, G.I. Jane. Nah, it's like a hack joke almost, right? And then a year and a half of cuckoldery came to fruition, and was like, you. And he's like, I'm taking this shit out on you. And walked up there and assaulted Chris Rock over a joke, right? That being said, Will Smith's 100% in the wrong. 100% in the wrong. Like, he should have slapped Jada when she fucking told him that she fucked 19-year-old on camera. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, take your priorities out, dude. Like, not fucking Chris Rock. So he was wrong. That being said, Chris Rock looks like a giant pussy for two things. A, not roasting the fuck out of him. The least he could have done was been like, you're a fucking cuck, dude. Like, who the fuck? Like, and he went to, I think, because he did that thing where he went, he stopped himself.
That. Yeah, I saw that.
Which, as a comic, I'm telling you, that was 100% like, I'm going to not lay it into you right now.
But his mind, he had it already in his mind, right? 100%. I mean, because it comes to you guys fast, right? Like it just comes, boom, right? Okay, cool.
No, he was like, "This is so annoying. My microphone stand. I need to understand. This is the worst stand in the world."
I'm enjoying the dance there, man, that you're having with your microphone.
I know. I'm trying to play it off like I'm not struggling. I'm struggling hard. For everybody out there who's listening, only you guys should see the struggle I'm in right now. It's fucking wild. This has happened to me 7 times, and I never got a new microphone stand, which I'm gonna do as soon as this is over. I'm gonna go on Amazon and get a new microphone stand. But no, Chris Rock, like you gotta you have to either insult him or you gotta fucking hit him. Like you can't, as a man on national television, just get bitch slapped and be like, well, be professional. Dude, what do you have to lose? You're Chris Rock. Like you have money. Like you're already in Hollywood's back pocket, right? Like Will Smith was clearly the aggressor. No one's gonna fault you for defending retaliating or defending yourself. Like no one's gonna. So I think Chris Rock should have done something. But yeah, Will Smith's a fucking asshole. And then like the speech afterwards he won was so indicative of Hollywood hypocrisy. He's like, "I'm a protector." I'm like, you just slapped somebody? Like he's just yelling at. He was yelling like, he's like, "God sent me here for a reason." Like shit, crazy shit like that, dude.
Yeah, no, I told my wife about it, and it was funny, man, because like I usually don't get into like, for us it's like it's like gossip stuff or chisme stuff, and I was like, I found myself kind of like, "Oh shit, did you hear about what happened?" She's like, "No, what happened?" And I told her, I was like, "Yeah, man, like Will Smith slapped the shit out of Chris Rock and all that," and it was kind of funny, man, because my initial reaction too was that I was like, man, he bitch slapped him, but his reaction was kind of bitch. So I was like, is this the definition of bitch slap, where the receiver and the giver are both bitches, where they both kind of come off that way? Now, of course, Will Smith's a big vato. I'm a short dude. I mean, I wouldn't say that to this, to their face, but that was kind of my take on it. But yeah, and I remember telling my wife just like, "Oh, well, in the morning we're gonna, we'll see Will Smith in handcuffs. I mean, he's gonna have to have he's gonna be in jail. I mean, he just assaulted a vato on TV, like gacho, like." And I woke up the next day and I didn't see anything. That speaks also to like the double standard, right?
Yes,
like,
yeah.
100%. Go ahead, man. Go ahead and speak on the double standard.
No, you sure? I didn't mean to cut you off. I was disagreeing with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it just speaks to the double standard, and I was shocked by that, because obviously you could tell that if it was somebody of a different color or a different gender, man, like, so, if he would have done that to a woman, like on stage, like a slap, it would have been like, crazy. Now, like if it was Mexican awards, that would have been just normal, because they usually give awards for novela slaps on TV, on the novelas, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, man, it was some trippy shit. But as you're dancing with your mic there, I feel like you got her under control there a little bit.
I do almost. I finally do. So my whole thing with it's Hollywood hypocrisy, right? Because you saw celebrities on the red carpet afterwards defending Will Smith for a joke, for words. Remember, these are the same people. I fixed my microphone stand, everybody. It took me 7 minutes, but I got it. These people are the same people who are like, words are literal violence. It's the same people who are like, words are literal violence, or like, you shouldn't hit people. But now it's like, oh, well, it's okay because he said a joke. It's like, okay, so we just hit people off words now? Cool. Good to know. I'll start beating the shit out of you celebrities for all the crazy shit you say. Yeah. It's okay to do now. And like, also, they'd be the first one to condemn you or me if we slapped. If they just saw a video of me slapping you or you slapping me, every celebrity there would have been like, there's no reason for violence. There's no reason for violence ever, except when it's your boy and it's an award show and it's all celebrities around, then it's fine. And then like you said, not in cuffs. Dude, the Oscars apparently asked him to leave and he said no. And they were like, okay. Like they didn't even throw him out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, dude. Like, it's fucking wild. You know
what? Somebody had a take here in town. Well, former DA, he came on, like, and I was watching some of his stuff because I've interacted with him before here. And he was saying that the way that he understands jury nullification is not the way we understand it, through the libertarian circles, right? He said that when he was a DA, the jury would nullify assault laws when somebody does some asshole shit where they're like, so this is where kind of the law comes in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if this was to go to court or something, there can be a jury that can be like, yeah, he should have not hit him, but you can't talk about and in jury, he's seen it where it doesn't matter that it was assault. A jury will say, man, you can't do that. And that's kind of, isn't that crazy? Like, I didn't even think that was possible. They're like, no, the jury can nullify the law and say, no, man, you can't be, you can't do that. Like you cross, to the jury, they crossed the line. I don't think this was a line crossing thing, but it can happen,
You know what's wild though? I actually kind of agree with that also, because okay, again, grew up in Staten Island, right? Like, we grew up a bunch of fucking Italian and Irish kids running around like a fucking degenerates, right? Like if you said some fucked up shit to someone else, like that's a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just getting into a fight. Like some kids like, what'd you fucking say? Oh, now you're in a fight. Like it didn't get to much words. It was like a few words, and then it's like, fuck this, we're fighting each other. It's like there's no more, because it's like a respect thing, right? Now I think there's levels to that for sure. So I think like especially anything at a show setting, no, it's clearly jokes. But like if I'm out at a restaurant and some guy comes up to my wife, he's like, your wife's a whore, I'm gonna also hit that guy. Now, technically, I violated the nap, but I'm a fucking man. Fuck all that shit first. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a man first, then libertarian and everything else. Like, man one, dude. And man rule 101 says, someone disrespects your fucking chick or your family or your kids, you gotta fucking fuck that dude up. Sorry. And like, I don't respect you as a man if you don't, honestly. Like, if someone like degrades your wife or your kid, I mean, like, not a joke. I mean like at a comedy show where you're like, oh, look at this fucking dumb whore. Not like that. I mean, like, again, you're out at a fucking setting and someone's like, you fucking piece of shit whore. Dude, fucking break that guy's jaw on sight. Like, there's no reason you shouldn't. I'm sorry. But like, yeah, I do agree with that. And I would be like that in a juror. Honestly, if I was a juror, I'd be like, yeah, no. Crazy. Fuck that guy. He deserved what he got. Yeah. Like words have consequences. And like, as a man, your words definitely have fucking consequences. Sometimes that shit's physical, dude. Sorry. That's how it works in man world.
So it's kind of like if I wouldn't say the left, because it can happen anywhere, but let's just say Hollywood right now, just to be specific, is that they're trying to take it out of, they're trying to put that, I guess the court case in the public sphere. And that's how they're trying to win the battle of what can be said, or how they're hypocrites about this and that. But I guess what really matters is in a courtroom, but where all the action is, what we talk about and what hits like the media and all that is, what happens in public, like, what we talk about, because really when it gets down to it is like, when you get to court, that's where it really matters, because, they're the ones that are going to send you to jail or fine you or send, or you get something on your record, but yeah, man, it was trippy that I was hearing that like jury nullification for a DA wasn't some shit about us, about like, how we try to tell people, oh, just nullify, don't follow these laws. That they're like, no. There's people that assault people, and the jury sometimes, they'll say like, yeah, well, he deserved it, and that guy shouldn't go. I never heard of it in that way,
Me either. So, but I do agree. Like, again, it's all nuanced and situational.
Yes, which is pretty much. Well, I was gonna say, which is important that we still kind of at least have a system that if some shit went down, like the example you gave, like at a restaurant, that you could still passionately kind of say, without even a lawyer, man, you just take the stand for yourself. Hey, this is what happened. Like, what would you, and you could,
what would you do? And like, what I'm saying, like all these dudes were like, oh, I wouldn't. Okay, either you're lying or you're a fucking bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't respect you then. Like it's crazy to me that you would just have some other man walk on your fucking girl or wherever you're gay, a boyfriend. I don't give a fuck, whatever. Anything that's yours, like you can't let another dude do that to you. You just can't. Like, I'm sorry. I come from that world. You just cannot.
What about if where we thought that Chris Rock was going to land a joke, he was really thinking about the murder situation that he's going to get into with Will Smith in the future, and he's going to look at all of us like, who's the bitch now? I just killed the vato, but I doubt it, man. I don't see that in Chris Rock stuff. But kind of like, so moving on a little bit, but in the same realm. what at a young age, or maybe through family members or something, like when did you start kind of noticing that you could kind of take your sense of humor and turn it into, hey, I'm going to start kind of actually manifesting this through comedy in front of people and start going to that? How did that your route into comedy start?
I started realizing I could do it. I'm about 4 years into comedy. That's when you start realizing you could do it. Yeah, it's not people who are not comics, who don't, who are outside the world, who just observe comedy. They don't understand like the route most comics go through, and it's not glamorous. Like it's like you bomb the first 7 years of comedy, and then you kind of finally start to get good after that. Like that's kind of how it is. It's like so yeah, I was like, I again, grow up in New York. I was a giant fan of Opie and Anthony. You know, remember the Opie and Anthony? It was a radio show.
No, man, I don't. I remember the names. I remember hearing the names, and one of them got in trouble for something, right? Or some, or
yeah. Eventually, Anthony got like in trouble and fired. It was over bullshit, but like, yeah, but like they were always like in the news for they've been in trouble a bunch, but they were like great show. They had on, they were like a podcast before podcast almost, where you had Anthony and Opie who were like the host, and then you had Jim Norton, who's a comic, and he was
I know that dude. Yeah,
right,
I know that
dude.
He
was like the third mic of the show.
Okay.
And it was like a hangout, right? And they would fucking bust on news stories, bust on fucking dumb people in life, celebrities. And they would have on like all of like Norton's friends who are comics. And these were like, now all these guys like Bill Burr and shit, right? But like Bill Burr was like this like when Bill Burr was like the level I was at now when he was like on the show, like, just a fucking like a low level headliner, or like, like a feature guy, like way before he one of the best comics of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like Patrice O'Neal, Robert Kelly, like, so it was like a podcast, like all these comics hanging around shooting the shit way before his time. And I grew up listening to that every fucking day, like 15 years old, 16 years old, being like, oh, I fucking love this shit. Like, I love this. I love the ball breaking. I love like, this is what I do with my friends. Like, we bust each other's balls. Like, this is exactly what it is. So I was like, all right, well, I think I want to try comedy. And not that everyone was like, oh, you're funny, you should do comedy. Like that. No one ever told me that. Like, it's not like I was like the funny guy necessarily.
Oh, okay. That's
like, I always thought I was like funnier, and I always use humor a lot. But it's not like anyone was like, oh, you should do comedy. No one ever told me that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so 18 years old, I was like, well, now it's time. And I went to my very first open mic, and I did okay, which is the worst thing that could happen to a new comic is to your very first time do okay, because then you have like a confidence ego in you.
Why was it okay? Like, what does okay mean?
Like, I got like a laugh, like a good laugh, and I was like, oh, I'm the best comic ever. Like it's like a thing. Like all comics will say, like if you go to your first open mic and like you do well, like you think you're the next like fucking Dave Chappelle. Like, but then like you realize like the very next open mic you go to, you fucking eat shit, and you're like, oh, what happened to the first time when people liked me? It's just wildly different. Like imagining 19-year-old me like walking to the comic strip. Like, I still have the smell in my brain of like that place. Like, that's how like puppy like I was to like me now. Like, it's wild how far I've come. Like, it's just crazy. And that's just like anybody who's done the journey. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's just how far you come as a comic if you're just putting years into it. But yeah, it takes years. So I started at 18 and I started doing open mics. And like I said, you just bomb for a long time. And then finally you get good enough where someone's like, oh, you want to do this show for $0? You're not getting paid. You're just doing a show. Now you're doing just like your first book show at some bar. And you're like, cool. And it's a big deal. It is a big deal. And then you do enough book shows for free where then you get your first like $20. And you're like, holy shit. Like, I remember the first time I got paid for comedy, it was $25. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Cause like you made money doing like your dream. I know it's lame as fuck. And I know it sounds gay, but like it's cool. Man. It's cool when it's like, oh shit, I made $25 like just telling jokes with my mouth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like and now it's like, oh, I can actually make a living off it. It's like, it's crazy. Like
yeah, no, that's awesome, man. And so over the years, you've probably seen I guess, for sure the culture change with like cancel culture and all that. But cancel culture isn't going to go anywhere. I feel like it's here to stay. So my kind of question here is, what about like apology culture, right? Because that's kind of where it's heading. Is that like everybody now is expecting an apology? The one that I remember the most, and it's especially because it's like it's someone that I respect, because I always tell the story that I got into politics through Bill Maher, and I still watch Bill Maher. I still respect him enough, and I don't know if you remember, like it was like 4 or 5 years ago where he got in trouble because he said the N word. He said it in his bid, and and he apologized and all that. I felt that the apologize was 50-50. Either he was going to do it or not, but that's fine. That was more like his style. But in your comedy career or run up, have you ever crossed the line where you felt that you needed to apologize, even if it was like self-reflecting, like, my bad, that crossed the line? Or is it on principle? You're like, no, what is your take on on apologizing?
So truthfully, like I'm like definitely a little dirty on stage, but just with like the words I use, I'm not like overly filthy where I don't just say fuck to say fuck or anything like that. Like I curse sparingly. I curse sparingly, but like it's also what I'm talking about could be gross, but it's all in context, right? So like, I, but most of my bits or stories are about me, and like I'm shitting on myself or like my wife or like someone it's not, I'm not necessarily just talking about like a group of people or something like that. So like unless you're gonna cancel me for my comedy, it would be hard, dude. You might be like, oh, I don't like you talking about like drugs. It's like, well, okay. Because I'm not really talking about anything crazy. Like it's fucked up, but it's fucked up to me. And like when people watch me, like, you're an idiot, which is what I want. I want people to like make fun of me, right? It's like the whole goal of my set is to be like, I'm goofy, I'm an idiot. Like, so I'm not that guy. Like, I'm not that comic, like, who's gonna get canceled, like a Bill Burr or Dave Chappelle are gonna say, like, oh, trans and this shit. Like, it's not because like I'm scared. It's because it's not my joke writing, right? Like, I'm not gonna like I have plenty to say about that topic right here, like on a podcast. I can talk, but like to make it funny, like I don't really have that in my brain. Off the cuff, I can, but I don't want to write about like trans stuff. I don't care about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to write about like a funny story that happened to me. I think it's funnier to people. I'd rather write about that. So I've been doing a bit recently, a new bit where it's a true story. I say the word faggot in it because someone says it to me. And I'm waiting for someone to come up to me after the show and be like, you can't say that. But it hasn't happened yet because, again, it's in context of the story, right? I'm waiting. And I'm going to be like, hey, man, did you listen to the story? Like, it happened to me and it was said to me, and I'm telling you the story. I'm not saying or using the word in any way. You're just projecting. Like, that's what I would say. That's the truth. But yeah, so like, I'm not really worried about cancel culture for me. I get canceled on my politics, dude. That's where I get canceled, right? So like, I've had bookers or like friends of mine who've had bookers tell them like they won't book me because of my stance, because I'm not a fucking lefty.
Hey, what's up? If you're listening to this ad spot, it's probably because you're halfway through the show, which means that you like what I'm doing, which means that if you also want to support what I'm doing, you can check out palomaverdecbd.com. That is the official sponsor of the show. It is also a company that my wife and I run out of our home. It is a premium grade CBD company where you can get all of your CBD products that you need, from tinctures, salves, soft gels, pet products. And we have some new products, which are massage oils and bath bombs. So if you are looking for any type of CBD products and also want to support the show, visit palomaverdecbd.com. Use the promo code Chingazos, CHINGASOS, for 20% off anything off the store, off your order. So please visit palomaverdecbd.com. Appreciate the support. Peace. So even in the comedy world, that it's, I mean, is it a lot, or does it happen a lot, or is it, it's happened before enough to be like, oh, that's fucked up, or
Comedy world is severely left leaning. Severely left leaning. It's mostly woke idiots, right? So like that's what you deal with. So you got to find the people that aren't, and hang out with those people.
the
But
younger
like
crops, or even the like
younger for sure. But the problem is even the older comics, if they were already friends with those people, or they were like that was kind of always their politics, they just dived into it, and they just fucking were like, I'm gonna go on this side of the argument. It's like, all
Yeah,
right.
so even so even if you take like the which the libertarian side of things, where sometimes you can kind of play in both worlds a little bit. I like to think that you, as a libertarian, I like to play in both worlds of like the left and right. You can go full circle on some on issues. Even like that, if you try to do some of that, they still try to paint you as a righty. I mean, from the right, is that
No,
kind of
I'm
what?
a literal Nazi because I don't think we should have taxes. So
Damn, that's fucked up,
yeah,
man. That's fucked up. Yeah.
yeah.
So a lot of I didn't introduce you as like a libertarian, more like that you're a comedian, but I did find out about you, and I've seen you before on like Libertarian Party. You would do like your sets and stuff like that. So can you kind of talk about? I know you talked about how you kind of heard of Ron Paul, but at what point did you kind of when you heard, like you said, you heard him in 2012, but what was it about the libertarian philosophy that finally got you to be like, no, this is where I'm at, for sure. Like, especially since, you said your family would tell you to like city job or cities, so that means that they're mostly either going to be, Democrat or Republican. I
Oh,
don't know what they were.
Staten Island's very right leaning. It's the only right leaning borough in the city. So like my parents are libertarian now, actually, but they were right. They were Republican most growing up my whole life, and they were like right leaning, and then they kind of got red pilled pretty hard over the last 7 years. So like they went libertarian, but most of my family were, like I said, they weren't city workers. But my rest of my family, like I had like multiple cops and stuff in my family, and like teachers and shit like that. So like everyone was like city worker, and even my parents were like, don't get insurance and just retire at 41 years old. And I was like, okay.
Yes. So, yeah, and you had mentioned that on your bits, you kind of do the like a lot of the drug stuff. So, was it the drug war issue was the main one, or what,
No,
or a war, or what was the main issue that got you into it?
you know what? I don't know if there was a main issue. I think so. Again, I first saw Ron Paul in '08, but again, I don't consider myself part of that first wave. I just kind of saw who he was and like heard him a little bit. I was like, oh, I like this guy. But again, I didn't really know what libertarianism was. I still didn't really look into it because remember he ran as a Republican. So without me looking into it, I was like, oh, that guy's a Republican. I'm like, oh, that guy's a fucking awesome Republican. That's all I remember. And so I thought to myself, I didn't know who the fuck he really was. So when 2012 and I really started watching him more, and then I heard libertarian, I was like, what the fuck is that? And I just Googled it. I was like, and I was reading like what the philosophy, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, I believe in no war, and like I believe in fucking drug freedom, and I believe in like that's kind of what it was. It wasn't like necessarily one thing. It was just kind of like reading side by side and like checking my own brain off, like, yep, me too. Yeah, me, I think that's I feel that way too. Kind of like that shit. That's how, and I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to go all in. And I just went all in.
Yeah, and you had mentioned like, well, in the introduction, I had said that you also have a sports podcast, and I try to intertwine like my passion for boxing and football into my politics. But you don't. Do you feel that politics and sports should be separate, or do you think that there's always going to be a place where they're always going to be intertwined because they're so both culturally intertwined, I believe.
They're going to be, but they shouldn't be, is
Okay, so
my
you're under the
answer.
camp that they shouldn't be.
They shouldn't be, but they will. I'm a realist and they are, right? I know what we're at, and it will never not be. It will never not be. But no, it shouldn't be, because shut the fuck up and just play the sport. Like I'm a retired athlete. I grew up my whole life playing football, and I did MMA for a while too. Like I was really into sports, and like I don't give a shit what my quarterback has to say about fucking the war in Iraq. Just throw the fucking ball. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't care. This isn't about politics. Use your own platform for that shit. I'm not saying you can't use your own platform. I'm not saying like I think LeBron James is a fucking idiot. But like, if you want to use who you are outside of basketball to talk about your dumb shit, go for it, dude. But don't wear your fucking dumb shirts on court. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let it go because, like it or not, you're alienating half your audience and half the people that pay for watch your dumb ass throw a fucking ball into a hoop, a rim, which is what you're doing. Let's be honest. Like, again, I'm a football player. It's football. It's a fucking game, dude. Like, I knew what I was doing. Like, I wasn't saving anybody. You know, like no one in the NFL saving lives, dude. They're playing a game and making millions. Shut the fuck up. You have nothing to complain about. Nothing. You don't. Sorry. Like, I'm not saying you can't talk about racial inequality, but like, you can't talk about your racial inequality. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you broke that barrier, dude. Because guess what? I'm living in a fucking semi in fucking Newtown, Pennsylvania, and you have 7 houses in a Ferrari. I'm a white dude. You're not. Who's living the better life, guy? Because of your physical talent and your ability to work hard and all that shit got you to where you are in life where you could take that and make that money. And dude, you fucking should. Right? But don't then sit there and turn around and be like, fucking was hard. What point? Growing up, maybe? Sure. But then you broke out of that, dude. Like, you got to be honest in your shit. Like, none of these guys are honest, which is what drives me fucking nuts. It's like, yeah, when I was 10, it was hard and like I was poor. But then, like, the gift of like my hard work ethic and the gift of natural talent got me to where I am. And now I'm a fucking multimillionaire. So I really don't know what it's like anymore. Say that and I would respect it, but no one does. Like, LeBron James still like, it's a struggle. Suck my fucking dick. Struggle for what? Like, it's just bullshit, dude. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I guess like I have a different take, but not that well, I don't know. I mean, should Muhammad Ali have been quiet?
But that's boxing it's a little different, right? Because like he wasn't in the ring holding like a "don't draft me" flag. Outside of the ring, he was like, nah, I'm using my platform to talk.
Oh, okay. So you're separating out the game, but they can still talk shit outside of the game.
Like I said, like LeBron,
but that's still gonna come in, you know. That still comes in. So is that what you're saying, that it's that you can't stop it? So I mean, so then you're almost
stop it. So at least separate it at the base level of like, okay, like all the fucking NFL's like the end racism on the helmets. Stop, just stop, because like it's you're virtue signaling. First of all, the NFL is 70, 80 something percent black, right? Like the like. I guess the head coaches aren't, but the players are. So it's, I guess that's a problem. That's weird also, I guess, number wise, but like but like my point still is like, you still have all these athletes who are millionaires. It's like, where's the disparity? Like, what are you complaining about? I just don't like you. It's hard to complain when you're making millions of dollars and like poor white people aren't. And like, they want to watch football on the weekend. And those poor white people are being told like they're racist by millionaire black people. Like, that's crazy, right? Like, that's a crazy thing. So now they're sitting on their fucking 28-inch TV after working 7 days, and they just want to fucking watch football. And they have some guy being like, you're fucking racist. And he's like, I just want to watch football, dude. Like,
yeah. Damn, man. I understand what you're saying. And like, so then, man, I don't even want to ask you, well, you know, what did you think about Kaepernick? I know that's an old one, man, but then is that, you know, I kind of thought same thing. It's the same thing.
Don't bring it into the fucking stop. Like, you're making a fucking, you know what you're doing, dude. You're making a stink. Like, that's what it is, right? And like, people are going to be like, whoa, he's making it. Okay, well, LeBron gets his point across a lot for social shit, and he doesn't have to fucking make a knee on the court. You know what I'm saying? Like, athletes have made giant impacts outside of the sport in communities and life without making a scene in the court field, whatever.
Yeah.
And Kaepernick, again, he's like, I'm going to make a scene. This is not about his message. So if anyone listening, I don't want to hear, it's not what I'm talking about. All right. This isn't a pro con. Forget what I'm saying. By what his actions, you know what that's going to bring. And people are like, that's the point. Okay. Well, what comes with that is what I say all the time. His talent, sorry to break this to you guys, isn't worth the circus. So my example of a talent that is worth the circus is Ezekiel Elliott, the running back for the Cowboys, right? One of the best running backs in the league. When he was in college, I think he punched a chick in the face. Okay. When he was, I think his rookie year, the league was like, we're suspending you for like 4 games. The Cowboys did everything in their power to not have that happen. Right? They were like, they took the NFL to court. They were like delaying the suspension because of his talent, because he's that good of a running back. They're like, we'll delay. The Bengals, Joe Mixon, the running back, same thing. His rookie year in college, he punched a chick in the face. His rookie year, they're like, we're going to suspend you. The Bengals are like, hold on. How about we don't do that, though, right? Because he's pretty good. And we kind of need him here to run this offense. Kaepernick went 1-12 as a starting quarterback. That's not good. So now you're going to have this fucking mediocre quarterback not winning you games, and you have a media circus at your door every day. Where's the trade-off for you as an organization? There is none. If Colin Kaepernick has Aaron Rodgers' talent and is going 14-2 or 15-2 now and takes the NFC Championship every year and throws 3 picks a year, sign Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
That's the answer. Like, sorry, he's not good. And when I say he's not good in the NFL caliber. He could be backup somewhere in the NFL, sure. A backup quarterback isn't worth that circus. Sorry, he's not.
Yeah. All right. Then I want to get your take on my agenda here. So what because it's perfect, man. I feel you're gonna give it to me straight to see and see what's up at. So I say that Texas will win a World Cup before the United States does. And the reason I say that is because I'm a secessionist, I'm a Texas nationalist. So to intertwine the sport and my politics, I just say, I'm trying to make it as casual as it can be, that anybody can just say, oh yeah, one day Texas will win the World Cup. And just the idea of that is kind of like, well, what do you mean? Like, well, yeah, they'll succeed and they'll try to win the World Cup. They'll try to qualify against the US and Mexico and Canada, just like we all do. And some people kind of like, oh, what happens when Texas succeeds and the Cowboys and all that? Well, there's leagues right now where they have Canadian teams. They'll have Texas teams, and it's no big deal. It's not a big deal. I try to make it seem like nothing. Like, don't freak out, sports fans. You're still gonna have you should still be able to have all your sports, and Texas will win a World Cup.
They're privately owned. They're privately owned anyway. It doesn't matter. Like, it's not like the city owns the fucking Red Sox, like the Boston. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they own the stadium, but like not the team.
Yeah. So then my question to you is, am I? So I say that hopefully in my lifetime that'll happen. I don't know. I doubt it, but I like to think that one day I would celebrate a Texas World Cup victory. But am I crazy to think that? Am I I don't know, man, just crazy to think that one day Texas will succeed and win a World Cup?
Winning the World Cup, probably, yeah, because we don't even qualify as a country, and we have the best of all 50 states. So no, but succeed, that'd be great. I would love. I would think every state should be its own place, right? Like, I'm a big believer in that.
So I'm trying to intertwine the sport into my political agenda, but that's because I feel that I'm like you said, like it's about being real. Like, they're intertwined. So why not? Why fight that energy and then bring it together where it's not about a right or a left? Because when football is going on, when you're looking to the fans, you're not really looking at who's right or who's left. Everybody's on the same team going for your nationality. Especially with the World Cup coming soon, you're gonna see that. Doesn't matter, what, nobody even cares. Everybody's cheering for the same team. So I'm trying to be strategic about secession by bringing in this idea of like a Texas World Cup. It's just me thinking like that, of course, because it fits the sport that I like, but so I don't know. I don't know. Critique it, please, or am I thinking of it wrong?
No. Well, I wouldn't say thinking of it wrong. No, it's that thing of like, again, you are doing it off the field. You're saying like, yeah, I hope Texas wins the World Cup, but you're not playing soccer writing in the grass, like we should secede during the game, like stopping the game. Like that's what I'm saying. Like as long as you're doing it outside of the physical game, whatever. But
Okay.
once you hit the field and shit, like stop with all the bullshit. Like stop
Okay.
with all the shit. Like all
Yeah.
the just let it go. Just play the fucking because you're alienating half your base no matter where you fall on the topic.
On any topic, because
On anything, you're gonna
everybody's
yes.
always 50-50.
Right.
Yeah. I hear
And
you.
let's be honest, like you think a bunch. How many fucking white people watch the NFL? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're calling them all racist because, like, they'd be like, what the fuck? I'm not. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why would you say that about me? It's like you're alienating all these fucking people for no reason.
Yeah, and then maybe then it's just the sport of football and boxing have always been like it's more either acceptable or where it's not a big deal because there's the biggest famous game that happens every year is Barcelona versus Real Madrid, and basically it's Barcelona is the secessionist team and Real Madrid is the central authority team, and it is political. They'll Barcelona will wear its Catalan colors without they're basically showing the colors of their flags to say to Madrid, like, hey, this is our national flag, which is the state, and they want to. So, but everybody accepts it as that, and no,
Okay, can I?
No,
but
go ahead, yeah.
But soccer, though, especially Europe, it's like it's like history, thousands of years, like hundreds and thousands of years, not hundreds of thousands, like hundreds and thousands of years, like of history behind those countries and like those inner cities, and like remember, like Greece was made a city state at one point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's different than here, dude. We were only America. Like we don't have that. Like it's shut up. Like you know what I'm saying? Like we don't have this whole fucking long ass history of like breaking away from each other and fighting in the civil. We have one civil war and it was the North and the South, and we still don't really give a shit. Like it's just it's just not.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, you would know maybe more of this. I mean, I remember seeing like not documentaries, but yeah, the South was proud that its college teams would win over the northern teams and stuff like that.
We don't give a shit.
Not anymore.
We don't give a shit though. That's what I'm saying. Like the North doesn't give a shit. Like there's no Northern pride. Like as a New Yorker, my whole life in Pennsylvania now, I'm telling you, first of all, we don't really have that many, like, I mean, we have like Penn State, which is big out, right? But like outside of a few colleges in the Northeast, it's not really a college football area of the country. It's mainly college football's Midwest, South, and West, right? Like not really the Northeast outside of a few major schools, right? So like, we don't give a shit. Like I grew up in New York. I rooted for the Giants. I didn't have a college team to root for. I don't care. I root for Oregon now. I like their colors and I like all the uniforms they have and like the Ducks. Like that's why I'm a fan of the Oregon Ducks. That's it. And their football team is good, but like it's whatever. A lot of Northerners do not give a shit about college teams. Most of us, because again, we have professional teams to root for our whole lives. I mean, New York, there were 8 professional teams I could have chose from. You had the Giants and the Jets. You had the Rangers and the Islanders, the Knicks and the Nets. And if you want to take it to another level, technically the Buffalo Bills and the Buffalo Sabres are in New York too. Because of Buffalo, right? So like, how many fucking teams can I choose from? I don't need to be like, what's some random podunk college team? Syracuse? Yeah, I root for Syracuse. Who gives a fuck? No, you don't have to. So like so that Southerners might care because they're still holding a grudge, I guess. But like we don't give a shit. Like, oh yeah, Georgia beat you. Cool. Go. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and I've also on doing some of the pre-show prepping. When you say you did MMA, that like you competed or you just trained or you
both.
and how did that go? Because hand-to-hand combat is I respect that, especially I'm a boxing fan and MMA, I was more into it when it was when you would have to get when I was a kid, you would have to get the videos, I didn't have pay-per-view like all those old ones. But how did you get into MMA and how did all that go?
I was bullied a lot. So I was always good in football. Always. Like I was always good.
What position or what would you play? Or
safety?
Okay.
Safety. And then when I got older and I was playing like in like flag leagues and I was playing like quarterback and safety because I could always throw. I always had a good arm. But I'm only 6 feet tall, and I'm not tall enough to play quarterback. Like I'm not like, you know what I'm saying? Like I never had the skill to play real quarterback. I only have the skill to play like semi-fake quarterback and like 2-hand touch leagues and shit. But I played safety for real football because I could do that. But I was a nerd growing up. Like I was into like comic books, and that wasn't cool in the 90s. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that was like legitimately not cool. Like you would get me fun for that. Like Spider-Man wasn't cool in the 90s, you know? So I never had like friends on the football team because they always thought I was like a nerd and they were like make fun of me. I never got like beat up, like physically bullied, but like again, I told you, like growing up in Staten Island, you got into a lot of fights just via playing sports against other neighborhoods, like your team in your neighborhood versus another, you know, so like that. But then like once I got to high school, I would just get bullied a lot verbally. And then when I graduated, I was like, I think I'm pretty much done with that shit. Like I'm just gonna learn how to defend myself and fight, and I'll never get bullied again. So I started doing MMA. Then like 2 years into MMA, I was like, oh, I think I want to try to like actually fight, like because I'm a competitor. Like I love to compete, and it wasn't about like violence at all. Because I was still playing football at the time, but I was like, let me also try to fight. And yeah, I fought for a year. I only had like four. I had 4 official fights because I was training in New York, and it was still illegal in New York to fight. You could train, but you couldn't fight, obviously, right?
Oh, it wasn't sanctioned. They weren't
Right.
sanctioning them.
Yeah. So I had a fight in Jersey and Connecticut, but we had a bunch of like underground fights in a way in New York
Yeah.
where like they were legit, but they was weren't sanctioned. Like
Yeah.
like you know they were like legitimate referees. Like it was all safe. Like we had cut men and everything, but it was just like shut up. Like you know no one talking about it. So I had more than 4 fights technically, but I'm on the books. I'm 4-0. But
okay.
I
Yeah.
lost more. I lost fights that didn't count. But I'm technically 4-0. Yeah. So that's so I only competed, but then after that year, I was like, I don't want to do this. Like actually go professional. Like I don't have the drive to fight and like keep going through camps and like cut. Like fuck this. I just want to keep playing football.
You
Like,
say
you know,
cut weight? Were you about to say
yeah,
cut weight? That's the hard part, right?
Well, so but I was lazy. So this is what I did because I was still playing football. I couldn't cut weight.
Oh,
So I was like, I have to find a weight to fight at that's also suitable for football. So I fought at light heavyweight at 205. So all I have to do is cut like 5 pounds, give or take.
The night before or the day before, an hour before or 2 hours,
Or the
hours?
week of. No, the week of, because I would just take my time because I was like, I can't drop 30 pounds and play football. I get killed.
Yeah. So you were always, you were fighting people that were probably, and then those
dudes were cutting weight.
Yeah. They were naturally what, 215, 220, and then they were more.
Naturally 230.
They were cutting that much on the fight. Oh, yeah, you were way disadvantaged, man.
I was getting fucked up. I was winning, but like I was getting fucked up. Like I was getting rocked. Like there was a few fights I snuck away without getting touched, but like a lot of fights I was getting fucking shit kicked out of me because these guys are so much fucking stronger than me. It was nuts. So I had to rely just purely on fucking like skill, you know, like and like just ducking. Like I couldn't outstrength these guys.
Yeah, and you've also I've heard you mention that on your I believe on your different tiers of membership that you have there on your show that
Cult of Us.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That you have like MMA nights. Can you kind of talk about that? Because I think I'm gonna have to join that. I think there's that sounds pretty interesting there. If you want to.
I can, but there's gonna be a lot of winks in here. Okay, so if you're listening out there, I'm gonna say wink. Yeah. So our Patreon tier for Cult of Us, which is my comedy podcast, we have 3 tiers: $1 tier, the $3 tier, and the $5 tier. The $1 tier gets you in the door, and it gets you all the extra episodes we put out. You know, like all that shit, and we read your name on the new episode, which is a pretty good deal, I think. We put out a lot of extra content for you guys. The $3 tier is the movie and MMA tier, where we'll go in our Discord and you guys could hang out with us as, you know, we watch the fights, wink, wink. And you guys could listen to us watch the fights, wink, wink. You know what I'm saying? You
They should
get
know.
it?
They should know. They're Mexicans. Okay. They know what the wink winks are.
So yeah, if you guys join that, you guys could watch the fights on your own TVs and listen to us talk about the fights. Wink, wink. So $3 tier and the $5 tier is pretty cool too. If you guys are into tattoos, and this is more of a local thing, but my friend Anna, who does all my artwork, all my tattoos, she's great. And we have a $5 tier where every 2 months we'll pull your name out of a hat. And if you win, you get a free tattoo from Anna, like full color. She's in Wilmington, Delaware, so you kind of gotta go to her. But yeah, if you're locally, it's a pretty good tier because you get a free tattoo for low as $10.
Yeah, and so what else do you got going on at Porcupine and the Slapstick? What kind of stuff do you got going on here for the future there?
Yeah, so Porcupine, that's my libertarian political one. I do. I have on just like a lot of guests on that one. It's just me solo, and I have a guest each week or two guests each, whatever the fuck I do. And it's like all the names you guys know. Fucking Scott Horton, Reed Coverdale, fucking Clint, all the Tower Power guys, whatever. All the guys you know in libertarian world and podcasting I've had on. I'm friends with most of them anyway. It's fucking so it's fun. That's a fun one I do. I've been having on a lot of PA guys recently because we just had on like our convention and stuff. So having on a lot of my friends from PA and they hold titles now. My friend Matt's running for governor. He's our governor candidate for PA. So I just had him on to talk about his run. And then, yeah, Cult of Us, like I said, I do with my friend Neil Wood, who I co-own Drop Tent with. So shout out Neil. And that's a comedy podcast. We just bust each other's balls, bust other people's balls, we watch videos and make fun of shit. It's just a fun getaway from politics. We don't talk about politics at all. So if you guys just want to come away and go to comedy, Cult of Us. And then, yeah, Slapstick I do with three other comics, Jesse Pedraza, Garrett Monaco, and Andrew Thomas. And we just talk about that week of sports, and we talk mainly football, MMA, and a little bit of wrestling because Jesse is a big wrestling fan. And I haven't watched wrestling since like the Attitude Era of like the mid '90s, but yeah, we talk about like a lot of football stuff. We try to talk about like basketball and hockey and baseball too, but it's mainly football and MMA because that's mostly what everybody watches anyway. But we do talk a little more about basketball, college football, and that's around. It's fun. Again, make fun of each other in that too. Try to keep it light.
And finally, what is the vision for the Drop Tent? What are your y'all's goals long term, and what are you trying to do with that? Because that's kind of cool. I check out your website and all that, man. That's badass, man.
Trying to grow, try to grow with more podcasts. We also run comedy shows. And I don't mean like we have to physically be on them. Like we will also just run like the production of a comedy show. So like anybody out there, if you're in the Philly area, like tri-state area, like hit us up. Like if it, we'll talk to you about pricing and stuff. Well, yeah, we have all the equipment. We'll give you, we'll put up all the stuff for you, like amps, stage, lights, all that shit if you need. So we try to do, and we run our own shows obviously too. Like we run monthly shows. We always around Jersey, Pennsylvania, shit like that. So, you guys can check that if you guys are in those areas, droptent.com/events for tickets. We always have shit going on. And then my own individual, road stuff I have outside of Drop Tent. But yeah, that's the Drop Tent thing. It's pretty much just trying to grow the stand-up, grow the podcast, grow the network as a whole.
Perfect. So yeah, man, Adam, thank you for coming on Los Libertinos. I hope you feel I respected your time and that we had a little bit of fun. And can you just finally just let anybody know where you might be performing or where they can check out like your comedy stuff specifically?
Yeah, this is the two ones I'll just plug that are coming up that I care about the most are April 16th at Chalfont, Pennsylvania, right outside of Philly. At the Pop-In, two shows. It's Saturday night, 7 and 9:30. Natalie Cuomo's headlining. You guys might know her from Gas Digital stuff over like Legion Skanks guys and all that. She used to date Lewis, Lewis J. Gomez. She's headlining. And then April 30th, I'll be headlining up at the Shell up in Rhode Island. So coming out, all you free staters, you're right next door in New Hampshire. So coming out to that. I'm sorry, in Rhode Island. I'm going to New Hampshire. I'm such an idiot. It's in New Hampshire. The Shell is in New Hampshire. I don't know why I said Rhode Island. The Shell is in New Hampshire. So all you free staters coming out to that, it's going to be a fucking fun show. April 30th. Tickets are available. Droptent.com/events. Get your tickets. It's going to be a fucking awesome time up there. I promise it's going to be a good show.
Perfect, man. So thanks for coming on, and maybe when the World Cup's rolling, you guys can have me on your
Oh
sports
yeah,
show, man.
we should because
I could
Jesse.
definitely talk some football or some football.
No, because Jesse, who's a comic and also our producer called us, he's Peruvian and he talks about soccer, and we just go, we don't care. But if you have you on, you guys can talk
Maybe.
about it, and we could yell at you together. We can
Yeah,
tell you
that's
guys you don't care to your face together.
All right, man. Cool, man. Thank you, man. Peace.
Thanks, brother.